right, y'all. So let me just preface this by saying, I am not into the divide of the left and the right. That's just not my thing. And I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But I will say for about the past 2 weeks, it has been a season of like deep thought, questioning everything that, and you may be feeling like this as well. You're just questioning everything that you thought you knew about, ethics and human behavior, and us all collectively trying to get to a place of like love and light and understanding and acceptance, especially in the biggest melting pot of the world. Or that's what we like to call ourselves. It has been a period of grieving and really thought-provoking questions, or at least for me. What's up, y'all? It is editing Diana from the future. So I know that I was very intentional with my words in this video, and that was on purpose because I've just learned from experience that you cannot help someone see things in a different light if you are berating and belittling and screaming at them and everything, because why would they want to listen to you? Their ears are going to close, you know what I mean? But before I even went to the polls, I'm like, we've got to show up knowing something. And I will say that I was incredibly ignorant in its pure rawest definition once again, because there were a lot of things that I did not know. And then once you go down that research rabbit hole, it leads you to this thing, and you don't know what this thing is, and in order to understand this, you have to know how this works and how this is connected. And it's just like, it was just like a whole new world was opened up to me. And I am talking about, when I'm saying I'm learning things, I am talking about, based on what I'm hearing, like, what does the Department of Education do? And if that is wiped out, or if changes are made, how is that going to impact people, and especially people in underserved areas? What about the school vouchers? How does that work? What are the pros and cons? And I've actually seen with my own eyes, as I'm researching things, that I've seen the trickle down effects of that. And I want to know, like, why certain communities that are so close to each other are so vastly different in regard to how the community over here is well kept, the schools are well funded, and then you take a turn this way and this school is just like dilapidated, and the community is just run down, and there's nothing here, and everything's out of business, and the windows are boarded up. Like, how is it such a huge difference, and what's at play there? And honestly, like, tariffs, what are tariffs? How do tariffs work? And is that going to be passed on to the consumer? Who typically pays for that? Just going down that rabbit hole of questions, and then actually learning these things before I showed up to the polls. So that is what I meant by saying that I am learning certain things. And there were a lot of things that I did not know, and I was completely ignorant before. And I was ignorant in the sense that I thought that my vote didn't matter, my voice didn't matter. They were going to do whatever they wanted to do anyway, and I just had to like bow down, and whatever decisions that they made, I was just going to have to shrug and deal with it. But that is not how I choose to show up in the world, and that is not how I choose to teach my kids how to show up in the world. And this has thrust me into like wanting to be more involved with like PTA and things like that are going to directly impact my kids and my kids' schools. And so yeah, I just wanted to make that quick little disclaimer before we roll back into the video. And I didn't really know if I even wanted to open up the floor for this discussion, because it can just go downhill very, very fast. People are in their feelings, emotions are at an all-time high, and when you have people of opposing views with their emotions at an all-time high, you can pretty much bet like it's going to be a knockdown, drag out war in the comments, or even if people are having a discussion on video, it is a war between family members, between friends, between spouses. And I don't really know what to think of it. I don't really know what to make of it. I'm going completely off script here because I just want a way to get these thoughts out and hopefully they make sense and I can string them together in a way that allows you to catch what I'm saying, but I want it in its rawness, you know? And I will say, this is probably the first election in which I have properly educated myself. I will say, previous times I was very ignorant in its raw, purest definition of just, I lack knowledge in this area, especially when it came to policies and things like that. I just did not do my due diligence and really try to follow what was going on and really look into the policies that would have a direct impact on my life. Not more so, I will say, yeah, more so on a state level. But I have an almost 12-year-old daughter, and I can't go against what I'm trying to teach her. And that is, even if you don't get the outcome that you wanted, to stand up and make sure that your voice is heard. I cannot be a hypocrite and sit on my hands and not do my due diligence, but also try to instill this in my child. And so I went to the polls. I did my research. I went to the polls. I had my little PDF of, my just what I wanted to vote for and against. And I sat in line for 2 hours. I sat in line for 2 hours, y'all. And when I say sat, I stood in line. And, I made my voice count. And I knew leaving out of there that I may not get the results that I want, but I still want to show up and honor those who have literally lost their lives or nearly lost their lives trying to fight for my voice to be heard. And I wanted to do what was in the best interest for me, what I thought was in the best interest for me, but also my daughter and other people of color, other women, things like that. And I woke up the next day and I'm like, all right. Went into a little spiral of grieving. But then I gave myself about a week and I decided, like, okay, what is the solution here? And the solution is to continue to educate myself. And also with this new direction of the channel, like, yeah, I can sit here and show you my budget and things like that. And it is making a difference in people's lives. But I'm really just like, okay, Diana, what are we talking about here? What are we doing? And I know that my gift from the divine is to be of service and to also make my voice heard, and prayerfully put what my thoughts in a way that can be understood by whoever comes across them. I had to educate myself. And still every day when I wake up, I'm learning more and more things that I did not know before because I was blissfully ignorant. And I say that because I really do think that not the majority, but there are a lot of people who make their voices heard, but they're not really doing their due diligence in educating themselves. And it comes to a point where, like, you're willingly being ignorant because you have a vast majority of information at your fingertips, but you don't want to tap into that because you want to hold fast to the beliefs that you have. And if you do your due diligence and educate yourself, then you may have to separate yourself from those beliefs that you want to hold on to. It is what it is. But I also feel like, being ignorant is a setup for inequality and a lack of inclusion. And, social media, I think, and I'm not trying to be hypocritical because I'm here with a mic, but I'm just saying social media cannot be used in place of proper research. There's a lot of misinformation out there. And I think when people are like, I'm doing my research, and I used to do this as well, it comes from someone who is the loudest on the internet, who is the most confident, but they may not be right. And what I have learned in life is that you cannot readily accept everything that someone tells you. If you want to seek understanding, you have to show up and stand up and willingly question everything that someone is telling you. I don't care if it's in your place of employment. I don't care if it's in the church. I don't care if it is in the home. You have to question everything that you are being taught or told if you want to truly gain an understanding of something. And that is something I will say has kind of not backfired on me a bit, but, caused me a little bit of headache when it comes to not my son, but more so my daughter, just because she's of age and she's testing those boundaries and she's trying to have autonomy of thoughts and things like that. And she's wanting to have some type of, ownership over herself. But I taught her to question everything that she's being taught, even if it comes from me. And when she questions something that I tell her, I can't take the stance of because I'm an adult and I told you to. Because when she questions me, I have to be ready and willing to tell her why it is so, why she should listen to me, why she should take my advice. And sometimes, y'all, I don't have all the answers, and that causes me to be on my toes. Like, I've got to be on all 10 and do my research and really understand, like, why is it that I'm teaching her in this way? And sometimes I've realized that I'm wrong, and I have to accept that I am wrong. But I think that we see now more than ever how a lack of proper education and questioning everything that you're being told can impact other people in a negative way. I think we have taught ourselves to see certain people as authoritative figures, people that are running for certain positions in office, even our CEOs, our managers, our supervisors. We see them as above us, and we don't really question them because they are these people in these authoritative roles. And it goes down to, like, I'm an adult, I tell you what to do, don't question me. And then we take that, and that's embedded in us becoming an adult. And it's like even still, like, if I am in a meeting and I see the CEO come in, or there's a director of a certain department, I kind of shell up. There's just a lot of tension in the room. We're all making sure that we're sitting upright. We don't really want to say the wrong things. We don't want to upset them. We don't want to question their authority. And that is because in our heads, we have taught ourselves to see them as kind of like godlike in a way. And that is kind of what I see playing out now when it comes to the political game. We see them as authoritative figures, and we don't question what they're saying. We readily accept what they're saying as truth, even if it's the craziest, most far-fetched thing. We readily accept what they're saying, and we don't question them. And of course, if you don't question them, then you're not going to go do your own research. I don't mean someone that has a podcast or someone that is screaming and yelling on TikTok with a little mini microphone. I mean doing research, like unbiased research, scientific articles, peer-reviewed information, and then coming to your own conclusion. I don't really think a lot of that is happening, and I get it because we see these people in like these superior roles, and we see them as for us, kind of like a god almost. And so whatever they do or whatever they say, we're going to justify why they did that or why they're saying these certain things. And I'm not just saying one side versus the other. I know that there's corruption on all levels, on both sides. That's just the way the cookie crumbles when it comes to human beings and having so much power at their fingertips or having so much money at their disposal. There's going to be a level of corruption there, right? Okay. But it's kind of like they're seeing them as someone that can do no wrong. And I think that goes back to kind of like marketing. And it reminds me of whenever I got a marketing coach. And we went through this whole in-depth marketing strategy to help me sell products. And because I felt like, what I was doing, it was good, but I needed and wanted someone who had authority in that space to help me leverage and I make more money, you know what I mean? And so I spent a bag, okay? I spent a bag on this marketing coach, and I remember going into it, I already felt like, I was picking up on things that I did not like, just from the space that I was in. And I'm like, I'm feeling out of place here. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I need help. And this is my last resort. This was my last resort. I remember the prayer that I prayed, and then what I was telling myself, either this is going to work and it's going to show me that this is where I'm supposed to be, or, I'm just going to have to pay this big chunk of change, and at least I would have clarity. And oh boy, did I have clarity. Leaving out of that, it wasn't even a partnership, just me getting that person's assistance. It reaffirmed what I was fearful of, that in order to make it, you had to prey on people's fears. You had to prey on people's biases. You had to prey on people's limiting beliefs about themselves, and kind of like an all hail me, I have the solution that you need. I know what your pain points are. I know what your problems are. I've done research on them. I am very well aware of what it is that you fear. I am very well aware of what it is that you want. I am very well aware of what it is that the positioning that you see yourself in society and things like that. And I have the solution. I just need you to do me this one favor. And obviously from my side, it was me. I'm creating the solution for you. I need you to pay me for this. And then, all of your problems are going to go away. They're going to be solved. I see people in these higher up positions, they spend millions to study our behavior and to learn what our pain points are, and they speak directly to our pain points at the podium. And of course, to get in these positions or whatever it is, and maybe not even in politics, whatever, I need you to put me in this position by choosing me. And even though maybe to someone else with a sober mind, it looks completely ludicrous, to others who have these issues, to others who are having these struggles, they have these pain points, when you are serving them up a solution and it sounds good, they're going to take the bait. Like, they're going to eat off of whatever you present to them on this plate. And going back to kind of like the savior thing, and when I see you as an authoritative figure, and I have the utmost respect for you because you have spoken to my pain points, I'm not going to question what you say to me. I'm just going to take whatever you give me because you promised me a solution. And I think when you really break it down from all sides, people are in pain. People want to be heard. People want to be seen. People are feeling forgotten. People are feeling like they're really struggling right now. And because of you, or because of certain people, they're struggling. And when someone comes in and says that I am going to fix all of your problems, they're going to go that way. I know some people may disagree, but me, I have empathy for these people because they're scared, they're fearful, not just financially, but for their safety and well-being, and they feel like their position in life is being compromised. You know what I mean? Or position in society. If you are used to being superior, and now all of a sudden you feel like these people are coming in and they're taking your job. People, like, you have this fear of people harming you or harming your loved ones, and not being able to get a job and not being able to make ends meet to take care of yourself and your family. Like, that is a sucky position to be in. If that is your outlook on reality, that is a sucky life. You know what I mean? And going through that intense marketing strategy, those meetings that I was in, like, it really opened my eyes to how people profit off of people's pain. And these are the thoughts that I've been toying with day in and day out. But instead of whimpering and curling up into a ball, which a lot of people want to see you do, like, if your side is prevailing and you finally feel like, yes, it's our time to shine, then they want to see the other side suffer. Like, I want you to suffer like I've suffered. I want you to be afraid like I've been afraid. I want you to see the struggles that I have been dealing with, because now I have this solution in place. But outside of all of that and toying with these thoughts day in and day out, I see what's going on and a lot of the misconceptions and misinformation out there. It all goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. I honestly just think it is a lack of knowledge, a lack of awareness of what is really going on. You not doing your due diligence and really seeking out information, because you can't understand what you don't seek. If you just readily accept what someone is giving to you, you don't have that understanding. Your understanding is reliant on someone else. You know? And so instead of being fearful, instead of being angry, instead of being resentful, my solution to it is just to continue to educate myself, because as I continue to educate myself, I know what to look out for and I can't be blindsided. You know, I know or can figure out ways to overcome certain things that are put in my way, because I have the power of knowledge behind me, and that is something that no one can take away from me. Certain things, material things, and certain abilities that can be taken away, but you can't take away what I have stored within my mind and within my heart, you know? And that is something that I want to encourage everyone, no matter what side you're on, no matter what your beliefs are, just continue to educate yourself. Continue to question everything that you are being taught, no matter if it's from your pastor, your preacher, your mother, your father, your grandmother, your local politician. Question everything and seek understanding for yourself. And sir, ma'am, I know that the mental gymnastics that is required to keep yourself sane in a time of uncertainty, when you don't know how your way of life is going to be impacted, is exhausting. But I will say that this has thrust me into a whole new world, and my hunger for learning and seeking and wondering has been amplified. Like, I am on fire right now, and I'm hoping to just bring everything that I am learning, bring it to this channel for whoever may need it, because I know now we have the ability, once we educate ourselves, we now have the ability to impact and educate thousands of other people. So that's it. That is where I'm leaving y'all. Just had to get that off of my chest, and I will catch you guys in the next video.